everybody. Always a pleasure to be with my especially beloved family from Miami. And appreciate your words, Wadi. Appreciate Eta's words also. I agree with you. But if you ever need any reassurance about yourself, Etta and Roz are the two people that you must turn to, because they always raise your spirits. And I also agree with so many things that you mentioned, Wadi, too. We're living in a very unusual time. But for me, really the feeling of just perfectness of this time, appropriateness of this time. And if I, or when I get ready to see what I need to see, then I think the lessons are all there. And I suppose my latest thing, and I think that the teaching that we had this morning was also perfect and appropriate. And the teaching that every day we have teachings from our founder that we study, and it's different teachings each day. And today's teaching was about handing over all your responsibilities to God, and becoming free from all worries, all concerns, and that you do what you have to do, and let him, her, take care of the real work that's really beyond our control. And really, when you start thinking about it, so many things are happening, and the only way to deal with this uncertainty, and I think that we're not just concerned about the uncertainty of the world, but in our personal situations too, there are so many uncertainties. And although those uncertainties have always been there, in a sense, this changing landscape of life and the universe and our world has always been there. But because the pace of time was so slow that we never really worried about it so much. We never worried about what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in X number of years' time. Our bodies have not been eternal. We know that our bodies have a limited lifespan. We know that things are changing all the time. Nature, finances, relationships, all these things are changing all the time. And yet we didn't seem to be so worried about them. But because everything was moving slowly, and I think that as it was moving slowly, we were also learning to prepare ourselves for those changes unconsciously, not so consciously. But now when we see the pace of everything moving so fast, that we wonder whether we will be, what will happen. And so I think that we have to consciously and deliberately now prepare ourselves for all eventualities. But the interesting thing about it is that the preparation is not thinking, well, maybe it might be like this and I better prepare for that, or maybe it might be like that and I better prepare for that. It's not that. It's actually the preparation is of absolute stillness, absolute clarity, accumulation of power and strength and wisdom, accumulation of the power and the ability to be still inside, be able to catch whatever it is that I may need in that moment. And actually everything that we need at any given moment in time is there inside of us, as well as in the universe. I think the cooperation and support, everything is there. The only work that I have to do is open this eye to be able to see it, catch it, and be able to use it for my life. And so for me, this recent times, last couple of weeks, it's that something that I've been focusing on, because I was, even though I know in terms of the bigger picture, I may not be so worried. because I just know that everything is going to evolve just the way it's meant to evolve. But perhaps, little concerns and fears come up about one's own self, or what about this and what about that. And I realize that the reason why I might be carrying those fears about my own life in the next year or two, maybe even, is because I am predicting, I am making kind of an assumption that my next year or two might be how my last years were, which is not really the case. Nothing is ever the same. It's only same inside here. And so as I let that go, see that as a process of learning, see that as a process of growing, see that as that which came to show me something about myself, but that what is to come next depends on this present moment in time. How am I making use of this moment in time? And when you think about making use of something, you think that you've got to do something with it. You've got to make something happen. But I realize also that it's not about making something happen. If anything is really about being so quiet, being so silent, being able to be in the connection with God, in the connection with divine in such a way that my assurance of certainty, my assurance of the fact that everything will be just perfect, just the way it's meant to be, and just the way that is going to be beneficial to me, in order to be able to capture that feeling here and now, not wait until the future, to capture that feeling here and now, I spend more and more time in my consciousness and in my awareness with God, with my own spiritual awareness of the eternal self, the spiritual awareness of everything that I wish for myself. The seed of that exists inside myself. The seed of that exists in my relationship with God. And so I'm becoming increasingly aware how absolutely essential and necessary it is this day and age for us to give time to this, instead of worrying or thinking about making something happen physically. I really don't think it's about that, because whatever physical preparations you might make, whatever they might be, in terms of your health, in terms of your finances, in terms of your job, in terms of your relationships, whatever physical preparations you make, you just don't know that they will be there tomorrow. Well, not just don't know, you know that they will not be there tomorrow in the way that you might perceive them, because physically I can't make any preparations for anything. That doesn't mean that I drop everything, but in fact what I'm really doing is taking time, making time for that internal preparations. And I think life, drama of life, time. I heard an interesting notion the other day, that to be honest in your life, an aspect of living life honestly also means to use time in an honest way. Now you might think, well, how do I become dishonest with time? Have you ever considered that? I become dishonest with time if I waste time. If I waste time in distractions, knowingly and consciously and deliberately, if I waste time in doing things and looking at things, on things that about things that are just making time slip away from my hands, especially spending time in YouTube or Facebook or whatever. And yes, they all have a purpose and they all have a contribution to make in our lives. But how much? How much? And how much am I using that to enhance my learning and my spiritual growth? And how much of it is just actually time and energy slipping away from my hands? I just thought that was a really interesting way of thinking about time and honesty, and relationship of time and honesty. And I'd never thought about it in that way. So I liked that very much, and I really took that on board. So really, what's to be honest with yourself, to be honest with time, truly means to use time to enhance and to grow spiritually, to allow that inner strength to grow, to connect with God, and to support each other in a way that's long lasting and everlasting. So I hope that this provides you with an opportunity, this opportunity for Raksha Bandhan. As it's been explained to you all, that when we meet personally, it's really an amazing time that we spend in silence. And so I hope that this evening also you will be able to stay. Don't just consider the blessings that are being read out for other people to be theirs, but if you listen to them, if you listen to them with silence and with ownership of everything that's being shared, then actually you will be able to take that for your own self too. And so I always feel, they say actually in the scriptures in India that when the time comes, your own spiritual endeavor, whatever is destined for you in your spiritual quest, even if you don't realize it, and even if you don't consciously and deliberately make that spiritual endeavor, time, nature, and elements will make you make that spiritual endeavor. And what's happening in our world today, if that is not pointing us towards making that spiritual endeavor for ourselves, I don't know what else will ever do that for us. So anyway, I take this opportunity and think about what it is. Maybe I've shared with you, and if what I've shared with you, what my own thoughts and feelings and spiritual endeavors are, resonate with you, then may they be yours also. I've really been enjoying exploring that and really feeling settled and feeling comfortable. And I like the idea that Sister Wadi also used about feeling comfortable in your own skin. And so I'd like to share that as a gift with you. Or if you feel that there's something else that you need to focus on, then by all means take this opportunity to maybe hone in on that and use this time once you've honed in on it to allow it to become yours, allow it to hold you and to inspire you and to ease your journey forward. So I'd like to share a few minutes of meditation with you. I was seeing everybody's faces, and it was lovely to see all the faces that I recognize and those who I don't recognize. I hope that next time I see you, I will recognize you also. But sit comfortably, but not too comfortably that you fall asleep. For me, it's really bedtime actually, 9:25 p.m. But it's a good time for you. Just sit alert and focused, but comfortable, and sense this energy coming from southwest of England, south of Oxford, traveling your way. Miami's, you know how on your weather app you have places that, my favorite places are on my weather app, and Miami is one of those. Not because of the weather, but I want my attention to be going there as well. So Miami's always in my mind and in my heart and in my thought. So the energies are connected already. So what I'd like you to do is just sense that energy traveling in your direction. A sense of love, a sense of togetherness, a sense of connectedness. Become aware of yourself. conscious and deliberate thoughts of the eternal self. The eternal self, conscious living thinking energy that resides at the center of the forehead. But I want it not to be just a concept or a notion in your mind or in your intellect. But as you hold that awareness of yourself as this living energy, hold also this awareness of your breath of this physical body. And we know that breath of this physical body gives life to the body. And you feel that breath give life as you sense the rise and fall of your entire body as you breathe in and breathe out. But now, I'd like you to send that energy, allow that energy of the spirit, the soul, to become at one with this breath. Breath of this physical body. And as you do this, as if the rhythm of life, the rhythm of this breath becomes the rhythm of life, and you find yourself resonating with the energy that you generate, the energy of the deepest peace. Absorb this peace. Absorb it in your body, in every particle of this physical entity that you call your body. And your mind becomes focused on this body, and because it becomes focused with this awareness of the self as a spiritual energy, it's as if the body almost becomes translucent. And you are this living mind, this incredible intelligence, and that's all you are, this intelligence whose intrinsic nature is love. Its intrinsic nature is absolute purity, purity of heart, purity of the being. You are completely and utterly in full glory of your beautiful self. Soft, tender, loving energy. When you are this, it is from this place that you bring at the forefront of your mind your eternal relationship with God, with the divine, whose energy is vastly, enormously, exactly as yours. Unconditional, constant, eternal love. As you allow yourself to be absorbed in this love, because you are seen for who you are, exactly the same. Love, consistency, eternity. And you meet notice your heart expand. Notice your mind becomes still and held in this loving energy of your eternal beloved. Go back to observing your breath in this energy, in this vibration. And allow this vibration to make whole once again in every particle of your body. That particle no longer remains a physical particle, but it becomes particles of light, of peace, and of love.